Hi, welcome to this technical support essentials for IT Service Desk Engineer. Whether you are just starting out or brushing up on best practices to become an IT Service Desk Engineer, this video will help you to provide efficient and effective way to support your users in any organization or any company you are working for. So if you are working as an IT Service Desk Engineer, your role is going to be either first line or second line support engineer. So you are the front line of the IT support, which means when a worker or your colleagues have an issue with their device or with any IT infrastructure, you are the first line support they are going to call, or probably they're going to call the first line support. And then when the first line support could not handle the issue, it's going to pass over that issue to you. So it's going to actually create a ticket and then assign that ticket to you to actually continue to find a solution to the user or actually give a support to the user. So I'm going to be discussing about you as an IT service desk engineer, not as an IT help desk, which is the first line support, but more or less an IT service desk engineer, which is the second line support engineer. So what are the key roles of an IT service desk engineer or an IT support engineer, which of course is going to be second line support in most companies? Well, one of the first key roles is users support. So you'll be responsible for technical issues via, for example, telephone, email, chat, or ticketing system. So when I say ticketing system, it means that when the help desk create a ticket, they're going to assign the ticket to you. So your role is now actually to troubleshoot that issue and then find a solution to that problem. So we could have issues, for example, like troubleshooting hardware issues, software related issues, or even network problem. I will not be going into details about the technical issue, but I'll just be trying to generalize everything. And also, you may also have to assist. You also have to assist users, for example, with their login, resetting of password, and also software installation. Well, at this moment, most software are being installed via SCCM, Citrix, or Microsoft Intune. But sometimes also users doing installation of software, users do have issues whereby the software could not be installed properly. Then you as an IT service desk engineer or IT support engineer will need to assist these users to actually resolve the issues. So another second role you as an IT service desk engineer needs to perform is issues resolution and escalation. Well, technically, you need to find a solution to problems. But if you cannot find a solution to problems, then you pass that issues to the third line support engineers, which are the system administrator and the system engineers, the network engineers, security engineers, and lots more. So let's say, for example, someone called you that they have an issue. For example, they could not access a specific software, or they could not install a specific software, or their Windows is always crashing, or they are trying to reinstall their Windows using SCCM and it fails. So you as a second line support engineer, you try to actually fix that issue through the telephone. So you contact the user, try to assist the user, tell him step by step on what to do and how to fix that problem. So if the problem is not fixed, then you now escalate it to the third line support engineer, which of course the third line support engineers, they have more technical skills to also assist. But it could be a third line support engineer, could be a system administrator, which of course is responsible for like server admin and more, or a network engineer who is an expertise in network system, or someone who is an expert in security. For example, it could be cyber security, Azure security, or even Windows security. You know, some companies, for example, I'm working right now with a company, they have different departments. For example, we have the network department, security department, Azure department. So we have different type of different departments, which means when a ticket comes in, then the second line will actually try to escalate it to the right department. And if, for example, you are working as an IT system administrator, that ticket comes to you and you feel it's not your responsibility, you actually pass it on to the next, or even send it back to the second line support engineer, which we always did in our former company and said, well, this ticket is not for us, and then the ticket will be sent back to the right system engineers. For example, you can always use, I think we are using ServiceNow, but right now I'm working with a company, we use also ServiceNow, and you can also be using Jira to actually escalate ticket. And also, we also have the ticket management system. Because if you are working as an IT system administrator, you'll be working a lot with ticket management system, because you need to log tickets, you need to actually manage the tickets, put more information, because you need to give as much information to the next person who could be your senior support engineer or the third line support engineer. So you want to give that person more information on what you've already done, so that they don't keep on repeating the same thing. Because I've worked for companies whereby I try to assist a user as a third line support engineer, and again the user is telling me, well, this guy have done this before. You understand? So if the first line or the second line support engineer is not telling the next support what he or she had already done in the past, it's going to be a kind of a repetitive issue, because the third line support may also try to do exactly what you've done, but probably maybe in a different way. You understand? Because you have more technical skills. So you may do it in a different way, which of course could be the solution to that problem. But as a second line support engineer, you need to provide as much information of what you've done to the next support engineer. So it gives the support engineer the ability to be able to use a different approach, to solve that issue, not using exactly the same approach you've used in the past. And again, you also have the system maintenance and monitoring. You need to do a lot of system maintenance and monitoring. For example, you want to be actually checking on servers to check if there are any issues. You want to check on backup. You also want to check, for example, when a user have issues, you want to also, okay, let me just go to event viewer from here. Let me just open event viewer. So as an IT support engineer, you'll be using event viewer a lot. So if, for example, a user have an issue with his device and you couldn't actually detect what that problem is, you can always go to Windows, to your event viewer, and from event viewer, you can actually try to check and see if you can get some extra information about what the root cause of that issue is. For example, a device is always rebooting, so you want to check to see if, for example, what is actually causing that device to reboot. So your event viewer could be your next stop. You can actually remotely connect to that device using a remote desktop connection, or a different remote system. If you're working with SSCM, you have some other SSCM tools which you can use to connect to that device. So here in Event Viewer, everything that has been done on your device is actually being saved in Event Viewer. So you want to use the Event Viewer to actually check and monitor the system, to check what is actually causing the system. You can actually reboot the device, or just wait for some time for the device to crash, and then you can actually clear the log file. Just wait, let me see. You can see we can actually clear the log file and then allow new logs to be regenerated. And also, we also have the user's account management. For example, you'll be also responsible for creating, modifying, and deleting users' accounts. So if new users are employed in the company, you'll be the one who are responsible for creating those users' accounts, resetting the user's password, and also configuring emails, and even probably sometimes laptops or desktops for the new user. And again, you'll be responsible for the software and hardware. For example, install, configure, and update software and operating systems for the user, which of course you'll be troubleshooting, like desktop, laptops, printers, and other devices, even smartphones and tablets. So if you're working for a very large companies, of course they use desktop, laptops, tablets. And because when I was working, I think like 7 years ago, I was working as an IT client system engineer, which I was responsible for all client infrastructure of that company worldwide. So which means that every single device, tablets, mobile phones that someone receives anywhere in the world for that company has to go through me. So I'm responsible for actually approving it. I will coordinate with the on-site engineers to make sure that the device is properly installed and configured and hand over to the users, and also the creation of the account, management of email, and the configuration of the email address, and everything has to go through me. So it was a very tedious task actually as a client system engineer, because I was actually dealing with everything that has to do with the telephone system, printers, laptops, desktops, and all. So that is going to be your major role as an IT service desk engineer. And lastly, documentation. You want to document as much as possible, because sometimes you solve a problem today, and the chances that you are going to solve that same problem again may be like 3 months from now or 6 months from now, sometimes even 1 year from now. So if you don't document on how you fix that issue, you might have forgotten how that problem was fixed. So what you need to do is to make sure that you always document every single issues you fix in your company. So that's what I always do when I start working when I start working for a company as an IT consultant. So what I normally do is to make sure that every single problem I fixed, I always create a document about it, on how I fixed that issue. Or if I have a colleague who have been working for that company, and they show me how to fix that problem. So I always try to make sure that I document those issues, so that I don't keep on asking the engineer, my colleagues, on how is this problem being fixed? How did we fix this problem 3 months ago? Please, can you show me again? Which is not actually nice. They'll be thinking, this guy needs to actually document this stuff I'm giving him. So it's actually a best practice to always not only try to review the documentation that have been created for the company in the past by other engineers, but always try to create new documentation if you think the solution has not been found before for that problem, or is a new issue that just arise, and again you are trying to actually fix that issue. Of course, you may always try to fix issue by going to the internet, using your previous technical skills to fix that issue. But just creating a kind of a 2 or 3 lines, just 1 page documentation, can help you in the future, and also help other new colleagues. Because I've worked in a company whereby I'm leaving that company, so I will give the new person who's going to actually take over my roles the opportunity to use my documentation in the next 6 months to actually fix issues before that person will actually grind in on how to actually technically fix issues in that company. So thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. My name is Kelvin Johnson, and please, if you have any question, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section of this video, or you can send me a personal email. I'm going to leave my email also in the description of this video, so you can send me an email and I'll reply to you as quick as possible. Also, if you're looking for a job as an IT system administrator or IT service desk engineer, I can always be of great assistance to you, to guide you through on how to get this job, to guide you through on how to actually go on your interviews to get the job on your first interview. Thank you very much, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.